Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Beau Oliver, joined here today with Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and Teddy, and we are back for the Season 1 review of... Yeah, it's all bloody. Bloody first season.
I just realized, did that title scene get bloodier and bloodier as the season went on? It did, right?
Nope.
No, Teddy, that's has anyone pointed that out yet?
Yeah, actually,
Oh my
yeah,
god,
right?
did that get pointed
Holy
out
shit,
already?
Wow,
yeah,
Ted.
good start.
I
Wow.
hate you guys.
Nothing gets
You
past
should
you.
tweet something like that.
You guys suck.
People will be like, "Oh crap, that's crazy."
Sherlock Ted over here.
Well, because I remember the first one, and then, then I just started putting them all
I
together.
didn't
in my
really
head.
notice that until just now.
This could be your first video essay.
Wow, thanks, Ted.
You guys done? Can we get into this?
Well, Teddy, before we get into this review, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Over the years, Raid Shadow Legends has developed a reputation built on incredible graphics and gameplay. Millions of players worldwide enjoy dozens of tough bosses and challenges, but the true selling point are the champions you play with. Raid has just introduced an entirely new playable faction. Now introducing the Shadowkin. What a sinister name. It's easy to notice that the Shadowkin were heavily inspired by the mythos of medieval Japan, so you know what that means. Ninjas, samurai, ominous oni, and a whole host of mythical badasses. Are they good? Or are they bad? Well, that's for you to find out. All I know is that the champion Jintoro is by far the coolest looking samurai I've ever seen, and Yoshi the Drunkard is probably the prettiest. And that's not all. This month, Raid has released an insane amount of new content and things to do. First up, they've released 11 new champions. Can't wait to see what they're capable of. Also, they've released almost 200 brand new missions to complete, with an exclusive legendary champion as your reward if you manage to finish. And if that's not enough, they're also adding 5 tough new levels to almost every single dungeon in the game. That's a lot of stuff. So, what are you waiting for? Check out our description box below, and you can summon these awesome champions as soon as you get in-game. Good luck! Yeah, so Invincible Season 1, it's, a show that we had the chance to review, starting with Episode 4, and it really kind of just took the world by storm. I mean, we've seen the memes over the last couple of weeks with Episode 8, the fight between Omni-Man and Mark. It's really just, it's had its cultural moment here. But that's because the show was very good, and people got invested, people grew to really care about the world and the characters. So those final 2 episodes, like I said, it just set the world on fire. But we're going to talk about the entire season. And, I knew vaguely what it was about going into it, reading the wiki summary of the comic years ago, being familiar with the character of Omni-Man, that he was kind of this, not an evil Superman, but an evil Superman.
He's pretty evil.
Yeah, he's pretty evil. So I remember on Twitter seeing that first clip of him killing the Batman character and thinking, oh, okay, this is a Superman who's not afraid to get dirty. Mm-hmm. But then seeing what happened in that first episode, that's the big moment. That's the what really gets the ball rolling here, right? The first iconic moment of the show.
Just the fact that they held that secret from that first episode for the entire season says a lot about this show, and that they didn't need, they used that to show what the show was going to be about, but that it was a driving force, but you didn't need that explanation right away. And it kept people in tune with the show because they wanted to find out the entire time.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of kind of most times you'll see that at the end of the first episode, and then you're like, oh shit, Omni-Man's, he's just an evil prick, right?
Right.
But they blurred the line of that so well, I think, with his other interactions with people and his actions throughout the season until eventually a little more, and it built up to that final. And even at the end, it was kind of obviously he's not a good guy, but there was still a lot of conflict within him, and there was an explanation. So it wasn't always cut and dry. He's Homelander or evil Superman. So I think they did a very good job of that, keeping us on our toes, kind of in the back of our mind, we're like, well, he's good with Mark, he's good with his family, and it's like, well, maybe there is a reason, maybe the Guardians were evil, and he was just we were just waiting for that explanation, because I think a lot of fans held that hope, or kind of just wanted to get more of the picture, and I think the slow string along made the ending even more impactful.
Yeah, a lot of fans were wondering, is he being blackmailed? And like you said, did the Guardians do something that kind of forced his hand to take them out? And it ends up being, no, he comes from this race of beings that conquer planets, and he is conflicted. It's Goku, comes here, starts a family. Now he doesn't really know what to do. And you see the moments, earlier in the season when he's looking at the new Guardians lineup. You could see that throughout the season he's trying to break his own humanity. He's trying to convince himself that these lives don't matter. It's not about convincing everyone else. It's because he's fallen for this world. He's fallen for a woman. He now has a son. He's become an Earthling.
They set that up with that flashback with Debbie and Mark, but I don't think I think he was just evil from the beginning. Because of what he said about Debbie. Like he really didn't feel for Debbie. He just felt for Mark.
I think you're taking it at face value. I think he's trying to lie.
Can
to
you
himself.
not though?
Yeah, because I think there
For
are
what he
moments.
did?
There are moments that hint towards, even when I was saying the back and forth between him and Mark, where he would look to the side, he would look away. He's thinking in his head, maybe this kid is making sense here. And like Aaron said, like Mark says, there's evidence, not much evidence that we've seen of him fighting and almost dying for humanity, but it's there. That history is there. I really think it is a man who is caught, and he did horrible things, but
The fact that he did those horrible things and people still held on to hope that there was a reason why he did it, like we didn't just say cut and dry that he was a bad guy. Like we held on to hope that he was a good guy because of what they did with him during the show.
And I think you could view like the subway scene as like a protest against the transit system. Maybe he was just trying to
Look at
put
this. You can't have a
run
functioning.
the trains on time, or else this is what can happen.
yeah, in a Viltrumite society, the trains run on time.
Yeah.
And
Maybe even in the air. I think they showed it.
And
like,
destroying the
nuts.
city was a critique on, just the industrial age and kind of...
right, the infrastructure.
Yeah.
How often do we see construction on highways going on for years and years?
Yeah.
Who makes
Now
that
it's going
choice
to be sped up.
I'm just going to make a whole video just spin zoning Omni-Man.
Who makes that choice for the world though? That we're gonna go with Viltrumite? Is it the U.S. president?
Right.
Are we making that call?
Is it Putin? It's a council of Putin, Xi, and Biden. Like, okay, yeah, we'll be a part of your space empire. No, I
I think Kim gets in there.
No.
Kim's saying no, and then Korea wiped out.
Yeah,
that's
Kim
a
is going
fact.
to be the first one to stand against Viltrumite.
He might win.
Like, he's not with us.
You know what separates this show from any other superhero show? Is that right now superhero shows seems to be like the trend. There's so much, and this show really did a great job of carving its own lane in superhero shows because it doesn't shy away from the Justice League or Marvel. This whole show was it's a Spider-Man. It's
Right.
getting your powers old, and then you got to balance school, relationships, family, and superheroes. But they did it their own way, and they kept you invested the entire time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the standouts for me. Is just how it felt like a Saturday morning cartoon for a lot of it.
For real.
That coming of age story, the Static Shock Spider-Man type stories with Mark. When you dive a little deeper into it, that's when you get like the real life
Yeah.
R-rated realities of what a superhero world would be. And I think that blend was awesome because it had
Yeah.
that campiness, it had that realness, and I think at times if that's attempted and done wrongly, it could feel a little bit disjointed, but it fit in so well. And it made those moments even more shocking because, 1 second you're having a good time watching Mark find himself, and then the next you're horrified about what's going on screen.
Yeah, it adds an element of verisimilitude where the characters...
Where the fuck you pull that out of?
Good
Yeah,
word.
you like that? That's a good word.
What does it mean?
An element of realness. And I also coined this phrase in the previous review. It's
Fucking cocky, huh?
It's whiplash violence, where things can be going swell and all of a sudden somebody's head gets fucking decapitated, and you're reminded how vulnerable everybody in this show is if they're not a hero. You're reminded of your own vulnerability, that if you were one of Cecil's henchmen storming Omni-Man's home, and he runs up on you and grabs your gun and slightly taps you.
I'm protesting that too, by the way, if I'm them.
Yeah, I'm not going
Zero
in
chance
there.
we're going Omni-Man's
Well,
house.
that's why I like to refer to Cecil as this universe's Batman, because he's just having everybody else do his dirty work for him.
Yeah.
He knows that people are going to have to die, right? The grunts that he has working for him. Even the undead soldiers that he uses. He turns to
a good
Sinclair,
point.
and he's all, it's disgusting that I even have to talk to you, but he's like...
Trying to make some money?
Built a fucking army by the end of it.
For real. Probably the only army that can get licks on Omni-Man, though.
And it was also such the way that they use violence in this show, it wasn't gratuitous, it wasn't over the top. I mean, at times it was very gruesome, but because it was necessary for those characters to go to these lengths. Like when Battle Beast is fighting off that team, he's fighting for his life. He may be overpowered. And same thing with Mark. Mark gets his ass kicked time and time again, and they use that to show that he's not ready. That this world is extremely violent and he cannot stand up to it just yet. He needs to work through it. Or even the way that Omni-Man used violence in those last 2 episodes to try and prove a point to Mark.
Yeah.
So that I found was very clever, and you can't really critique the violence as gratuitous in this show, which is always impressive when it's going to be that graphic.
It was also like anyone in this, like in the superhero team, is vulnerable too. I thought they were going to kill off Mark, and I thought that was going to set Omni-Man even further off the ledge than what he was on, for what I was thinking. You know, I thought he was on a ledge right there, and I thought they were going to kill Mark and, you know, move forward with just Omni-Man.
Right, and Mark being the main character, you're thinking in your head, he can't die. But
Exactly.
It gets to a point where, is Mark about to die?
Yeah.
So that was very impressive with the show as well, that they're able to trick the audience in those moments. But the way that characters have been picked off leading up, you suspect, anybody can get it at any time. Anyone could get the smoke.
That's also a testament to Rob Kirkman. I was doing some research on the show, and Robert Kirkman wrote Invincible, and he also wrote the graphic novel for Walking Dead. And anyone in Walking Dead is vulnerable too in that show, and it definitely, a lot more things are put into perspective on this show and I found out that he was closely working on this animated show.
Yeah, and in Walking Dead, people complain that maybe characters are too vulnerable to a fault.
Yeah.
The characters get pieced up before you really get time to explore them. I think that's, the world building in this show, the introductory season of giving us glimpses into these characters and plot lines, knowing that they will be elaborated on in coming seasons, and naturally builds your curiosity for season 2 and season 3.
Yeah, and I think the way it was written too. I mean, like you said, like I said before, just the different tones. I think when you get the lighter tone and the more campy tone, it's the way it's written. It's easy to follow. And then when it gets into the larger stuff, I think they do a good job of obfuscating the audience without. I looked up 10 words to make you sound wicked smart.
Okay. Obfuscation.
Yeah. And they do a good job.
Just saying all of them.
It was either that or perfunctory.
Does that work? Okay.
Oh, it's set to confuse. I was just trying to,
Perfunctory. That also.
And there's a lot of elements in the writing that I think is meant to not confuse the audience, but keeps the audience guessing. And it's not done in a way that's like I think some shows, they do it just for the sake of confusion.
Right, or to even drag a plot line out.
And I think they did a good job of, giving you hints and kind of keeping you invested and not being like, well, the confusion never took anything away from the show.
Yes.
It added to it.
Yeah, and it's Omni-Man trying to cover his tracks. People are on his case. And even Cecil at the end, his whole plan was to buy time. It's why he sends Damien Darkblood back to hell. Damien Darkblood cracks the case, and Cecil's like, obviously it was Omni-Man, but we know his endgame. Or we know that his endgame ends with all of us dead. And Cecil says to him, I'm not here to stop you. I'm here to do what I've been doing throughout the show, is to buy us some more time.
Until we figure something out.
Right. So that secret, it's more of a time bomb. It's not the Dark Knight Rises where it's a ridiculous time bomb where, they could have just blown up the city. But Omni-Man he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. And all these characters really don't know what to do with the Guardian's death. They don't know how to respond to it because it is such a mystery, a good mystery, like you pointed out.
What did Top Teddy?
What?
Forgot about Laptop Teddy.
Yeah, I'm back, bro.
Come on.
Laptop Teddy, obfuscate Aaron.
Now, you're saying all these characters, and that's one thing that this show did great too, was with the side characters. These side characters is what really kept you invested, because there was 7 different plot lines with each side character. And to be honest, in superhero shows, do you really fall for the side characters? It's really all about the main character and its villain.
Definitely.
And the show kept you invested in all of its characters, between Darkblood, Debbie, Amber, Samantha, Cecil, Robot, Rex, every one of them. Mm-hmm. You feel for all of them.
Yep. Did you like the coming of age storylines in season 1? I think that's, if I would have a criticism, I think those plot lines could have been a bit tighter.
Yeah, but I think that added to
Yeah, I was glad that it was present.
Yeah, I think it added to I guess, like I said before, that kind of coming of age feel, and maybe it could have been a little tighter. I think those are also very hard stories to tell, and I think that
coming of age ain't easy.
Yeah, and I don't think you really needed that to be the best part of this show, but I think it was solid enough where it was part of the foundation off of the rest of the season to kind of build. Because I mean, Mark is, Omni-Man gets all the shine, but Mark is your protagonist here, And you need that development. You need to get more insight into his life and how he's dealing with things and kind of his view on humanity. He didn't get his powers till later in life. So for most of his life, he was a human. This is new to him. He has a different connection to humanity, and it kind of creates that difference in perspective with him and his father. And I think that is shown beautifully in the last episode.
I am so excited for the character of Mark Grayson moving forward because
Me too.
I've always been a proponent of young coming-of-age Superman stories. I think the relationship between Deku and All Might, it's kind of the best way to tell that story. It's a Superman in training, Superman trying to live up to the legacy. That's what we're going to see with Mark. Now that his father has abandoned him, he still has his friends, he still has his mother, but he doesn't have that figure to aspire to, especially learning the truth about his dad. Maybe he'll be more conflicted on what type of symbol is he supposed to be. But I love the character of Superman, and like I said, Superman in training, becoming the icon that can inspire a world. I just can't wait to see that play out over the course of 4, 5, 6, 7,
Mark's
8, 9, 10 seasons.
Dude,
hopefully.
with all the stores that are still open for Mark, he's got his work cut out for him too. They left a lot of things open.
It's like he's getting his rogues gallery, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be...
he did. I think he did,
right.
yeah.
Like if you were to pick up on Superman's story when he's 28, right? It's like, when back in the day when I fought against Battle Beast or when I fought against Titan. And those are the storylines we're going to see. That's why I can imagine, Omni-Man doesn't show up too early in season 2, where they let Mark
do his own thing for a little bit, yeah.
Take
I
some
think
more
you have
licks.
Mark. I think you have Omni-Man come back in the last 2 episodes of season 2.
Yeah, and I learned a major spoiler for Omni-Man. Nothing that I don't know what he's doing currently. I don't know where he's going. I don't know if he's returning back home.
I learned a major spoiler. It's not too crazy, just major.
But yeah,
It isn't-
comes back and fucks up Earth.
No, for his character specifically, I know something that happens to him, but I still don't know what his intentions are.
Oh, okay.
Did he dye his hair?
God, that would be
Shave the
funny,
mustache?
right? Just what is it called again? The Walt Clyde Frazier product, right?
Just for men?
Just for men, for Omni-Man.
I like the touch of gray.
Yeah, no, Salt and Pepper Super Daddy, man.
Oh, so wait.
That should have been his name.
Salt and pepper super
Salt
daddy.
and Pepper SP.
Oh wow.
On my planet, it's an
I want
S.
to give a nod to J.K. Simmons and his performance.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude, I'm just thinking of
He doesn't
J.K.
get enough
Simmons.
acclaim.
I'm just
Especially
thinking
from
of J.K.
nerds.
Simmons as an actor. He's complex. He's usually the alpha on the scene. He's unique, and that's literally Omni-Man to a T.
He has a strong voice.
it is. It's that fucking mustache, man.
I get it, but you need to keep that separate. What happens out there, the mistakes, even the victories, you can't bring it home.
Is that all you need? A nice mustache?
I think it's the chicken and the egg. What came first, the voice or the mustache? I think the voice was just so powerful that the mustache naturally grew.
Not everyone can grow a mustache, so I feel like my mustache is like flaky. You know what I mean? Like
No.
It's
You
gotta
need to be a
thick,
Viltrumite.
big.
Your DNA needs to be pure.
Right.
That's a fact. It's funny how J.K. Simmons was an icon for us growing up in the Spider-Man movies, playing J. Jonah Jameson. His Oscar-winning performance in Whiplash, he became an icon to cinephiles and people who just love film, and now he's become an icon once again with the character of Omni-Man. He's going to be one of those celebrities that wears the shirt, like I'm Omni-Man and Jonah J. and the guy from Whiplash, get over it. He's just such a boss. And
Think he's gonna wear that?
yeah, maybe. He seems like one of those guys. You ever see these pics of him at the gym? He's fucking
a big guy.
huge.
Is he?
Yeah. He's
That's-
ripped. Yeah, no, so he could be live action Omni-Man. Like 20 years ago, without a doubt. But yeah, his voiceover performance, I mean, gave one of the best performances of his career in those final 2 episodes.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, to keep them from resisting, to show them how wrong they are, how pointless it is, that they can be a part of something bigger.
Every line of dialogue was so perfectly written. And Stephen Yeun as well. They're back and forth, but
Do you think it's more in the writing or the actor? Like, the actor has to bring the character to life, right? Like, it's why you pick your certain guys. Like, they got to bring, but the writing has to say a lot too.
right, it's always a combination of both. But I think here the writing, like the scene between the flashback between Omni-Man and Debbie, I think that was one of my favorite explanations of what it means to be human. Talking about how we get older, it's harder to feel those emotions that kids feel. But when you look in the eyes of your kid and you see that enjoyment, you get that spark back.
I'm getting the chills thinking about that scene right now, actually.
Yeah, it's
emotional.
It goes to show that, Invincible's trying to be a hero by fighting against the bad guys, is getting his ass kicked. But the 2 hero moments are that flashback with Debbie. That's her hero moment. because it's what he harkens back to before he's about to kill his son. And then it's Mark saying, after 5,000 years, I'll still have you. That's what breaks him. That's what at least buys them enough time where he's going to fly away and they can figure things out. But I like that. I think that's cool, where the hero moments come from just these personal moments these personal connections that they made with Omni-Man.
Yeah, it's not a true hero moment where it's like you saved the world. Like, that's the hero moment.
Right, where Cecil says he's the only one who can beat him. And he does. He beats him by tugging at his heartstrings. It's a little different.
Good play.
Is there any coming back from that, you think?
What?
What Omni-Man did?
Yeah. That's
like,
tough.
hey, guys.
Well, just in the eyes of Mark. I always hate that sometimes. It's like, I know it's like your father and you have that connection with him, but like Luke, Mark, I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah, no, if my dad did that to me, I'd fucking hate him. Fuck you.
But what happens, though, if he comes back? If he comes back and he's like...
With ice cream?
Yeah.
A new Xbox.
But he kind of figures
Now you're
things
talking.
out.
Who wants a PS5?
Oh,
Dad, get here.
But
Give me a noogie.
if he comes back and he realizes that what he did was wrong and like humanity deserves to like live and be its own thing, like what the fuck do we do?
I think
we just
it's
accept him
something-
back over here?
It's very akin to Star Wars, I think, where Luke and in Mark in this instance, maybe he realizes the pull. You know, Luke, I guess, realized the pull of the dark side, and I think a lot of the times when they always forgive these terrible, terrible people who commit mass genocide, it's like, well,
you're better off forgiving them and having them on your side?
No, but it's
Like
like you get it. Like, only they can get it. It's like, we understand the pull. We understand how tempting the dark side is and the manipulation that can occur to make someone lead to that. And that's why you can kind of get forgiven in that sense. I don't agree with it, but also I'm not a Jedi. And then maybe in this sense, Mark can get a better understanding of the Viltrumite and what the power he possesses, how it's like to live with that. And maybe he can understand how the warped kind of perspective that his father had. And maybe there's an avenue for forgiveness in that sense.
I think and ditto everything you just said. And I also think there are
Killing
bigger.
it today, huh?
There are big. Yeah, no, great job. There are bigger bads on the way.
Yeah.
So I think Omni-Man is going to have the chance to fight side by side with his son against one of those big daddies who was wiping out everybody on Viltrum. I mean, the history.
I think we
of-
deserve it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it's not going to
As
be
the
where
viewer.
like Earth welcomes him with open arms. Our hero has returned. I really hope
Yeah.
they get into that, the trauma that the world may have, and especially Mark. I do hope they lean into that, where Mark isn't just, I miss my dad, but do I hate my dad? Do I love my dad?
I'm just thinking of a scene where he comes back, gives Mark a PS5, and he forgives him, and everyone's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's like, turn around. And there's just a bunch of PS5s.
PS5s for everyone.
Yeah.
To go off your point, I think they will, because this show's attention to detail was crazy. With little things like, I think Omni-Man's eyes were bloodshot for like 3 episodes when he almost got his eyes gorged out. It's just little stuff like that. And like what you said earlier with
the blood burning as he leaves the atmosphere.
Yeah, and like what you said earlier with what happens if Omni-Man flicks somebody, or when Omni-Man throws Mark through the building, what happens to society during that happening?
Right.
We get a live look at what like world would be like. And
I think that final episode is so well directed. I mentioned this on the episode 8 review. Having Mark being thrown through the city and then not seeing the repercussions until Mark comes to. It was so expertly directed. And even the transitions, transitioning from Debbie crying to Mark crying, getting ready to fight his dad, or the flashback transitions between Mark as a kid and Mark all bloodied after being beaten up. That episode was so well directed and edited.
I mean, I think the whole series was wonderfully directed. I mean, obviously the focus on Mark and Omni-Man, that's the drawing force, but characters like Cecil, the New Guardians, I think they did a very good job of kind of, diving into those characters and kind of, I mean, especially with Robot, that was another character where there was a lot of mystery surrounding him. Like, what is he doing? Why is he releasing the Mahler twins?
is he behind Omni-Man? I thought he was behind Omni-Man the whole time.
So-
No, yeah, those were the questions we were asking.
But it's another character in a different kind of situation, but who strives to be human.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great kind of opposition to Omni-Man, who was, instead of embracing humanity and wanting to be more human, he despised it, where
Right.
Robot wanted to be that. And that connection with Monster Girl, kind of his relationship with her, they shared being outsiders and not really fitting in, and both of them striving to fit into society. And I think, as weird as that connection is, I think it's kind of nice at times when you really actually think about it a little. But it's still a robot, and
Kind of the same plot point with Adam Eve too, because she didn't feel like she fit in either, and that's what made her go out for. I mean, we don't know how long she went out, but she was doing her own thing too, trying to get into society.
I have in my notes that Adam Eve kind of contrasts Omni-Man, but you just bringing up that robot contrasts Omni-Man, I'm like, that's probably better. But yeah, no, Adam Eve leaves the team, doesn't feel that she needs to be part of the team to be the best version of her hero self, leaves home. A lot of that with these characters is them discovering who they want to be in this superhero society. Even a character like Rexplode, he starts the series as the traditional douchebag hero who doesn't fully respect the responsibility of his position, and by the end of it, everybody has his back when he goes to clean the Guardians' bloodstain. I think that's what the show has done so well, not to reference My Hero again, but I will. The cast is huge, and they always manage to shine enough light on all of those characters, and that's what I felt Invincible did so well, is all of these storylines. You only needed, like that scene with the Guardians, of all them standing up against Black Samson when he's testing them. That's all you needed. They're a team now.
Right.
And obviously the small moments of Duplicate saying, we don't care that Cecil told us to say, we're going to go and help, and Monster Girl tapping Robot on the chest. Those small moments are more impactful than the bigger moments at times, especially when it comes to supporting characters.
yeah, and that's the benefit of animation, having the ability to kind of widen the scope without taking away from anything, because you can have a lot of characters and a lot of voice actors and a lot of different sets and everything, and you don't have to, it's not that much of a stretch as it would be with live action.
Yes.
I think with animation, somehow it's just more digestible. And I think the ability to dive into all these multiple characters and kind of very different characters, but also having a connection to each character's journey throughout the season and kind of either mirroring or one another, even though they're in such different storylines or different places. And it's kind of that overall connection that makes the series work together so well.
I got to shout out Kevin Michael Richardson as the Mauler twins. I mean, this is a guy, he's a voiceover legend. You look at his credits, he may have like 60 or 70 voice acting credits.
Really?
I mean, he's a recognized, I mean, you hear that voice and you recognize him from American Dad or Family Guy or all the kids shows that he's been in. But the Mauler characters, I think, they exemplify the great supporting characters in this show. You don't get, especially them, because the story isn't too intricate. They're in prison, they escape from prison, and then they help Robot, and then they bring back the Immortal to life. But they have personality. They look unique. They're big and blue and muscular, but they're scientists. And the iconic voice, like I mentioned, they great design, fun to root for, fun to root against. And that's kind of all of the characters in the show. Like Walton Goggins as Cecil, probably my favorite character in the series.
Yeah, he's such a great character.
Just a badass.
He might be the only government worker that I liked in any kind of superhero movie.
And it's interesting what he's trying to do with the Immortal and that
Shout out
secret
Immortal,
lab that I still don't know how that works, but I'm just going to accept it.
Cecil's an asshole, and the characters will tell him, Debbie tells him, I fucking hate you. And Cecil's like, yeah, me too.
But he knows, like...
Hey, he accepts it, though.
Right,
Yeah.
right. He's very honest about how,
he doesn't want Mark to
flexible
die,
he
but
has
it's
to
like... Just as
I'll kill two birds in one stone.
Then it has to be done.
Right.
He's not afraid to make the hard choices. But it does weigh on him, too. And I think he's a character that throughout the series you felt a little like, does he know something? Is he covering up? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? And I think he's kind of gray, but he leans towards good. I can't wait to see more of him in Season 2. I can't wait to see more of Hellboy in Season 2. I forgot his name, so I just said Hellboy.
Did they give Darkblood a time frame when they exercise him back to hell? Did they say you can't come back for X amount of time?
He's coming back.
He has to come back, right?
I think
He was
so.
really good.
He's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Everyone really, really liked that character. Clancy Brown, he's the man. So.
Oh, another attention to detail. Whenever Darkblood's in the room, it gets cold.
Yeah.
It's just little stuff like that. He doesn't just appear.
Why do they get cold? I think you would like the hot.
You would.
I like cold
That's a good
hell.
point.
Cold hell?
Yeah. Imagine that. You just fucking freeze to death for eternity.
I'd rather be hot than cold.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not going to hell
That's why
for
it's hell.
What I love most about this show is, for myself, is that I don't know anything about Invincible or the comic. I didn't read anything. So I was your casual viewer just watching week to week and loving every second of it, not knowing where each character was going or any backstory on these characters.
Yeah, I enjoy when a show just comes out of nowhere and just hits
Yeah.
the internet or hits the fandom and just like, oh, you got to watch this. You see this? And it's already like, whoa, I don't even know what this is. And you watch it and you're like, wow, this is fucking awesome. It's something, it's not like WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier where you're anticipating it for months on end. This kind of just comes, hits you in the face, and you're like, wow, I was not expecting anything like this.
Yeah.
This comic only came out in 2003 too, so I guess these are fairly new characters. They're not that old.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing this across the board, this obsession with evil Superman. I think with Superman, the initial appeal was imagining yourself with those powers, flying around, super strength. And now the appeal is, what if I use those powers for evil?
It's like what you want to see, but when it happens, you don't want to see it anymore.
Right, no, it is so disturbing. I think with, there are moments, the Homelander moment in the airplane in season 1 of The Boys has been eclipsed by Omni-Man, definitely. But I remember how I felt watching that, and watching Invincible, it's that times 100. But no, it is interesting looking at these figures, these godlike figures, and what if they turned on us? How horrifying that could be. I think humanity, we're like naturally obsessed with the apocalypse. The world's always ending. Y2K, 2012, or a pandemic, a zombie apocalypse.
I was so ready for 2012.
Yeah,
So was I.
Exactly. My point exactly. So when that does come to when that threat is now real, you see how instantly we go back on our word. And you're like, no, I don't want the world to end. I want Omni-Man to just always be the hero, because the newscaster says the world has changed forever. And I really hope they get into that change. But just anticipating season 2, you have any ideas on where the story is going to go? In particular, Mark, Amber, Eve, that love triangle, maybe a return of Omni-Man, some returning villains.
I think you got to keep Omni-Man waiting a little bit. I think they obviously set up the new storylines, and I think, well, not new storylines, but continuing a lot of the storylines they set up in season 1. So I think we might see Mark really come into his own and take up the mantle. I do think there's going to be a period of time where he really needs to recover from this event, because obviously it's a traumatic experience. So it might take him a while, but then I think there'll be a realization that he needs to be what his father wasn't, or be what his father used to be perceived as. And I think from a societal standpoint, I think we're going to see a lot of hesitation and kind of reluctance to accept either the new Guardians or Mark after what happened, because Mark wouldn't do the same, or if Adam Eve wouldn't do the same, or any other of these heroes can turn bad. So I think there might be another societal push against the current heroes we have now. Until obviously something bigger happens and everyone can band together.
It's kind of like what they were doing in The Boys, when they try and make it so the superheroes are the line of defense.
Right, they need to pump those numbers up. Those favorability numbers are probably way shot down. Maybe Invincible's become the new guy because he did stand against Omni-Man. But yeah, I could definitely see that happening, where the Guardians get their moment to kind of prove themselves, to put superheroes back in the positive light from a societal standpoint. I also think the relationship between Mark and Amber is going to be better in season 2. Some people criticized it. I wonder if they're positioning Amber to be his Lois Lane, where she is the investigative journalist that kind of helps him out in his quest of being a hero, helping him solve crimes. She kind of hints at it at the end there, but I think their relationship will be better now that the truth is, now it's out in the open. Mm-hmm. There's no more secrets. They don't have to kind of use that clumsy secret to create this contrived tension between them. They're just going to be pals.
Taking Omni-Man's plot line out, what subplot are you guys most interested in?
Battle Beast.
Yeah.
Battle Beast, what is he up to? Right. Who is he?
I like Titan. I think that dynamic was pretty
well, there may be an element of you betrayed me there.
Well, yeah, I think that's an interesting storyline, because with Titan we saw his backstory, and I think they did a good job of making him a sympathetic character, and a character that necessarily doesn't go overboard when it comes to violence, and he's willing to let somebody go, and he's willing to maybe not really be full evil, and kind of using
the script on you,
kind of using Mark, maybe shifting Mark's perspective on certain street level villains, and kind of I think that's an interesting dynamic to really dive into, because I think that was the best setup for any other side plot or side villain for next season.
I'm really excited about the prospect of Titan being the kingpin in this universe.
Right.
He controls the underground. Maybe Mark does fight him, but maybe they work together at some point. It's like, hey, there's bigger jaws. There's a lot of bigger jaws potential for those two characters working together.
Aliens are back.
I'm dying to know where they go with Immortal again.
Yeah, I wonder if Immortal gets brought
He
back.
just wakes up. Omni-Man!
Just follows him through the cosmos to get his shit rocked again.
Poor guy.
0-3. Yeah, and you also have the alien invasion.
He gets fucking swept every year.
He's the Raptors to LeBron. There you go. There's your LeBron reference.
Well, there was two. No, never mind. There was one. Never mind. When they kept coming back and Omni-Man goes there.
Well, those aliens, it looks like they're trying to find Omni-Man.
Yeah.
The last glimpse we got at them is they were sitting around a round table and they had Omni-Man on the screen. So you imagine that if the coalition of planets that was represented by Alan,
I take back the Immortal. I want to know what the squids are doing over on Mars.
the Sequids,
Yeah, whatever those
they're
Took over the Martians.
well, that's
If only one gets to a tainted soul,
yeah.
you gotta think they're coming to Earth, or they want to come to Earth.
Oh no, they're coming to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge issue. That might be the moment where superheroes get back on the positive light. They stop the Mars invasion.
Yeah.
Nothing like an alien invasion to bring the world together.
Yep.
Nothing like a good old Cold War,
Good war.
a hot war, right? Yeah, you said this.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
an alien invasion right now.
Oh, this planet 100% needs an alien invasion.
I mean, we always win in the movies, so
All right, guys, that is the season 1 review of Invincible. Thank you for watching. Like and share this video. Comment your thoughts down below. I know it was a very popular show, definitely with our fan base. So happy to review it. Can't wait for season 2.
what are they going to do for the title screen next season?
Keep it going.
Less blood or more blood?
The blood gets taken away now. Maybe that's just
That's a staple in the show. You gotta keep it going.
right.
We'll wait for like season 6 and Teddy will be able to spot out what the change is.
That's like
They're taking it away now. You see this? Hey guys, we got new stickers on Patreon. If you want to go check them out. I mean, there's none of me, but it'll help the channel out. Patreon.com/nerdsoup. Hey guys, we making a Teddy sticker soon?